Good day, I remain Osifo Samson. Today we shall be looking at what we call investment portfolio. Today we shall be looking at what we call investment portfolio theory. Investment portfolio theory. Now, investment portfolio. I've said before, and I also say it again, that the essence of finance are into 3 or 4 reasons. The first one is investment purposes. The second one is financial purposes. The third one is the dividend purposes. While the last one is financial planning purpose. That is the essence of finance. But today we shall be looking at what we call investment theory, investment portfolio theory. Now, in investment portfolio theory, what we are going to be looking at is this. How can we manage so many businesses and reduce some risks in business? And that will lead me to theories of finance. The first theory we shall be looking at was the one that was introduced by Henry Markovic in 1952. Henry Markovic introduced what we call portfolio selection. Now, the summary of this is that Henry Markovic talked about what? Diversification. Now, in 1952, Henry Markovic discovered that if you are doing only one single business, you can easily liquidate immediately. Once you have pressure on that business dies technically. That is why Markovic explained to corporate bodies and organizations that you can be in one business and diversify into so many businesses, that if one of the businesses are having issues, you can raise the other one can also lift the other businesses. Those are the theories that Markovic established in 1952. And Markovic won a Nobel Laureate Prize on this theory, which is portfolio selection. So what that implies is this. As a business individual, that is why we are talking about investment portfolio. As a business individual, once you have a business and that business is successful, it's now enough for you to diversify the business. Means go into another transaction, another business entity. For instance, if you are into oil and gas and your business is booming, and this oil and gas is booming, go into also what? Power. As power is booming, go into also what? Fishing or shipping line. As it's booming, go into what? Finance. Own a bank. That is what Markovic is trying to preach. That in the long run, you find out that if they are constrained here, they won't be constrained in all cases. The constraint will be limited to one. The other one can pick up the other one. That's what Markovic was saying in 1952. And he won a Nobel Laureate Prize for that. Portfolio selection theory. So, my advice to you, as you are watching as an individual or a corporate organization, once you are investing in yourself, also be selective. If you have a BSc in accounting, and you want to have MSc also in the same accounting, you want to have PhD in the same accounting, you are only done one thing. You only have one thing, which is what? You are just called an accountant. That is not what Markovic was saying here. He said diversification. So if you have BSc accounting, have MSc finance, have PhD in economics, it's possible. Now, this man and this man, they are not the same. But there is nothing this man can do that this man cannot do. So you must learn the diversification from your own hand as well. My name is Osifo Samson. I have a BSc in accounting. I have an MSc in accounting. I have an MSc in finance. I have MBA in finance. And I have a PhD in credit management. And I also have another PhD in financial economics. So, I have moved from an accountant to finance person, to management person, to credit person, to economics person. And presently, I'm also doing a PhD in corporate finance. So what that implies is that I can act as three individuals here. So that is what Markovich was preaching. Because the environment is competitive. When you are doing only one thing, the environment is competitive. Means if that thing is not operating any longer, you are useless. You must be able to diversify as a company, as an individual. That was what Markovich was preaching. Now let's quickly go to the second theory by Sharpe. This second theory was propagated by Sharpe and it's called CAPM. It's called Capital Asset Pricing Model. Now, this was introduced by Sharpe. And the essence, all these guys got a Nobel laureate prize for their theories. Now, the reason why Sharpe introduced this is because of the what? He said business are too risky. Business are too what? Risky. That we should identify business that are free risks. The one that are not risky at all. That we should venture into it. That if you venture into the one that are too risky, and you leave the one that are free risks, it's an issue. So, what am I trying to say in essence is that in our lectures, ab initio, when I was trying to explain what we call risk and return, I tried to also look at what we call Sharpe theory there. In our risk and return theory, when I talk about risk business, we can measure risk to what we call Peter. Now, there is a formula for this, and the formula goes like this. This is the return. This is the free market. Now, free risks. This is free risks. This is free risks. This is the return, the premium. Now, this is the alpha. You can put alpha like this. Alpha is the one that measures risks. You can put alpha like this. It's the one that measures risks. Peter, you can put it like that. It's the one that measures risks. Now, what am I trying to say in essence is that this man discovered this theory, and he said, if you go into risk-free, you must identify risk-free business that you go into. But however, if the business is too risky, apply this method. That is what he said. And he won a Nobel laureate prize for it. So, in diversifying into another business, because we're talking about portfolio, investment portfolio. So when you diversify into another business, when it's too risky, you use this analysis. But however, don't also forget that Markovich also talk about what? Diversification. But when you diversify and you know that the business is too risky, adopt what? Sharpe theory. As I've said before, all these things there are a lot of things that we cannot say here. Because they are in-depth. There are so many things that we need to also put in place for you to understand what all these things is all about. But however, the essence of this is just for you to have an understanding of what finance is all about. So, if there are more information you can definitely reach our YouTube channel and get more. But however, the last theory was done by Rose in 1976. Was done by, and what this story is just talking about is that there are other economy indicator to any policy you want to adopt to. Means there are also microeconomic factors that affect business, number of, what do you call it, other factors that affect business apart from this. That's what this Rose was saying. So apart from all these factors, these guys they've said though, that does not mean that this is that the real fact, the only factors that you can see when you are looking at what investment portfolio. You see, there's other macroeconomic factors that can affect business, which I explained yesterday when we called into risk management. The systematic risk and non-systematic risk. There are other factors that can affect a business. Let's assume a one-man business. When the one man dies, what happens to the business? So there are other macroeconomic factors that can affect business. Government policy. When government gives a policy on a particular business, the business dies. So that's what Rose was trying to say. That there are other macroeconomic factors that can affect the business aside from all these factors. That when you are diversifying or when you are trying to manage a portfolio, you must also understand that it is not the immediate environment alone. Government policy, government implementation of policy can definitely affect businesses. However, as I've said before, all these platforms are not ways at which we can treat all these causes. We are just bringing out the summary of all these causes so that the outsider can know that there is more to finances. We have just touched little of financial topic, little of finance topic, and little of management topics, and also that of tax. But we believe that if you need more on this, you can definitely go to our website. We have our means, our channels are there. You can go there and visit us. Thank you and very much.